This tale ends where most tales begin.
It was the middle of that January night when they be crossing. Caught up in the mix show, but they be crossing. Like TNT, they would explode. Tony Bone and Tariq, they were headed for rip mode. Tony Bone told the 9mm while Tariq was on the streets of North Park toting pizza. Here comes some pizza, y'all. Let's rob some pizza, y'all. You got my 9 bones, you ready? Is you ready? Antoine, he was the boss of the black mob deep as they stood against the wall of the driveway. With these other 3 youngins looking up at this youngin' as if he got some power or some mad something. Tariq was scared of what was running through this man's mind. Tony scared with his hand on this man's 9. Antoine gave the call, the hammer dropped, and now both lives are gone.
Most of us don't think that our children die before we do. So never expect to bury your children. Tariq grew up in an environment with family and religion and values. He was a very kind person and a very generous person. Tariq also was blessed with a very great sense of humor. He laughed very easily. I remember that he could soften even the most gravest moments with a crack or a joke. He was very happy in his relationship with Jennifer, and they had plans to get married. Losing an only son is devastating.
Tony grew up as a child who was born to a 15-year-old, my daughter. So Tony relied a great deal on people in the family other than his mom. My mom assisted with his raising. I, of course, assisted with his raising. He was very troubled by the fact that he didn't have a relationship with his dad. But invariably, the call of being with his friends got stronger and stronger.
My son, Tariq Khamisa, on the night that he was killed, was delivering pizzas.
Late that night, 11 o'clock news, there was a news report.
Tariq Khamisa was shot and killed while delivering a pizza.
And a very bad feeling came over me, because it was the first time that since Tony had been with me that he wasn't in bed sleeping.
It was gang related. They have this procedure, what they call jerking the pizza man. Tariq was asked to give up the pizza and he said no. And the 18-year-old gave the order to a 14-year-old. Gang name was Bones. He said, bust him, Bones. And a bullet was fired. It was one bullet, but it was fatal.
Tony committed a cowardly act. He shot and killed a defenseless person. And no way that you can make that right.
Admitting, sir, that on that date you did in fact shoot and kill Mr. Khamisa during the attempted commission of a robbery, is that correct?
Yes. Tony did the right thing and took responsibility and pled guilty to first-degree murder. And at his sentencing, he gave a very emotional, remorseful speech.
On January 21st, 1995, I shot and killed Tariq Khamisa, a person I didn't even know and who didn't do anything wrong to me. I have a lot of problems in my life. Over the last year while I've been in juvenile hall, I've thought about my problems. I wish I didn't have the type of life I had. I wish I had a relationship with my father. I think about the warnings that my grandfather gave me. Now I wish I had listened to my grandfather. At night when I'm alone, I cry and I beg God to let me out of here. Promise him that I will be a better person. I won't mess up. When I see my mom, I want to hold her as tight as I can. However, I don't want to use my problems as an excuse for my actions. I think I would have gone to jail sometime. But I honestly don't think getting busted for a robbery, something like that would have changed me. I was too mad at everyone. I was mad at my mom, my dad, my grandfather. When I first came to the hall, I was mad at the DA and the people in the hall for keeping me here. Now I'm just scared and mad at myself. I'm alone in juvenile hall. I feel alone. I have to think about the night I shot Tariq, especially when I'm alone in my cell, when it's dark and quiet. I wonder what it's like to die. Sometimes, when I roll over in bed, and I lay against a cold wall, I feel as far away from everything as possible. I wonder if that's what dying feels like.
After Tony shot this person, killed Tariq, he knew that he had done the wrong thing, the worst thing that he had ever done in his life. He knew he made the wrong choice.
I still don't know why I shot Tariq. I didn't really want to hurt him or anyone else. I'm sorry for the pain that I caused for Tariq's father, Mr. Khamisa. I pray to God every day that Mr. Khamisa will forgive me for what I've done. And for as long as I live, I'll continue to pray to God to give him strength to deal with his loss. My grandfather promised me that he would be Mr. Khamisa's friend and help him in any way he can for the rest of his life. I'm very sorry for what I've done. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak.
Tony was sentenced to 25 years to life in an adult prison.
Although Tony pulled the trigger, my anger was not directed at him. From the onset, I saw victims on both ends of the gun. So I reached out to the family of Tony Hicks. I had started a foundation to stop the plight of children killing children. And Ples was very quick to take my outstretched hand.
We needed to share the story of how Tariq and Tony's paths crossed and how it resulted in the death of one person and the life of another person changing instantly and forever.
Violence hurts, and violence hurts very, very deep.
You have a choice, and the choice is not to accept a handgun from anybody, certainly not to shoot anybody, and you have a choice also not to hang around with anybody who would try to convince you to do so.
This tale ends where most tales begin.
Imagine if your brother or your sister was killed, how would you feel?
But did we ever stop to think about his family's joy?
There is not a day that I don't think of him. Everything you do in your life is the choices that you're making. Make very certain that you make the right choices.
I'm trying to keep it real for you younger brothers. The jail cell is real for you younger brothers. 25 to life for being dumb. I seen victims on both sides of the gun.
Tony Hicks, known as Bones, who was 14 years old when he shot Tariq, pled guilty and is serving a 25-year-to-life sentence in an adult prison. He can't get out until he is at least 36 years old. The 18-year-old gang leader who told Tony to shoot was convicted of first-degree murder and is sentenced to life in prison without parole. The other two gang members involved, 14 years old at the time of the murder, were both given long sentences in the juvenile system. Tariq's spirit is alive through the work of the foundation, started in his name by his father and the grandfather of his assailant. If you have been hurt by violence, you are not alone. There are adults who care. Speak to your counselor or someone in your community. Asking for help isn't weak. It's strong.
on Pelican Bay shoot, maximum security housing unit. Wake up early, like 5:30 in the morning. Clean my cell, I work out, and I read. I read most of the day. My days are short. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They have yard here once a day for like an hour and a half. Right now, I find myself missing a lot of things that I never got a chance to do. Traveling and stuff like that, meeting people. I have to weigh whether me missing things or regretting things is a little bit selfish at times, because I'm taking a man's life, and he'll never be able to do anything as he was, and I'm in here missing things that I may not never be able to do or that I didn't get a chance to do.